moving on from the Nazis to The Witness. Very similar topics. So I really like, let's just skip ahead here. I really like puzzles. Just a goofy thing to say. And I really like, so with The Witness, it's been a long time in development, blah, blah, blah. I've been following it and expecting it, and I wasn't super excited, but I was interested, very interested. And so when the review started coming out, the first thing I did was look up, well, what kind of puzzles are in this game? Because I don't want missed puzzles where I'm finding an egg and I gotta place the egg in the scepter and then the thing flies. No, I'm too stupid for that. So what I wanted was puzzles. Straight up puzzles, just puzzles. And when one review I found was, it basically said, hey, this whole game is drawing a line from one end to another end, and I was like, okay, sold, done. Let's do some fucking puzzles. That's what it is. And this is me playing the first hour of the game. But hot damn. I mean, these are simple mazes, right? You can solve a maze, but it starts getting into these crazy town logic rules where you got symbols and you got to put two symbols together, but they can't touch the other symbols. And if there's another one of these, it's all these rules. And then Tetris pieces start showing up on my floor. I can see I made Tetris pieces out of Post-it notes so that I could stack them in a physical space and see them more easily, because I'm terrible at Tetris, which is weird. But I oscillate between loving this game to pieces and wanting to just strangle it, because it's so clever. There are things like each area of the game is basically solve a bunch of puzzles to open up a little laser light, and the laser light, you're shooting all the lasers. And I haven't done all the lasers. I think I still have like 2 more to do to complete. Each one has its own little thing, its own thing to figure out. So one of them that's early in the game, that's probably the one I'm about to go do, is actually we'll skip over to that. No, we won't skip over to that. That's what So like in a puzzle like this, there's little circles. I don't know if you can see them, but in the cross sections, there's little dots. So your goal is to collect all the dots and get to the end. I love puzzles like that. I could do the puzzles like that all day. Doesn't matter if they're easy or hard. I just want to eat stupid blocks like I'm Pac-Man. So there's puzzles like that. And then the first section you go to, that I went to, has where you're controlling one little worm line, and it's moving another one, and they're mirror images of each other. So you have to move them all around like that. And that's the trick of that area. And it's fascinating. And it gets to the point where you go to the next area and you're like, what's the clue here? What's the trick here? And you start looking around, and it's things in the environment. It's things that you would expect. There's one involving, I don't even know if I want to, is it spoilers to say that? I've played the game for about 18 hours, and done about 300 something of the puzzles. I think the people saying it's 100 hours to solve everything, yeah, probably if you didn't have the internet. But even without that, it's not, a lot of them aren't that hard, and we'll get back to difficulty in a minute. There's so much is about solving the clue and the hint and realizing, oh, that thing in the environment, that's the answer. Because it starts presenting you with blank ones that are only there, there's no way to know the answer, so you have to use the environment. You have to look around and see what's going on. Yes, I agree with that. And people, I saw this in the comments of one of the reviews, and it made me go crazy. They were like, I really liked this game when I played it on Kongregate in 2010, lol, or whatever. And I'm like, you are missing the entire point. This game is so much more than just, oh, a puzzle. Oh, some puzzles. And actually, I'll skip further ahead to more interesting puzzles. because what it does with these different areas and how you solve it and how you look around the world and you start seeing things and you're like, okay, that's a hidden clue. I see that now. I understand the world. And some of the reviews even said this, where it was like, oh, I don't understand, or I don't understand. I close my eyes and I see the lines and all this shit. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. This is me being an idiot trying to solve a puzzle you can't solve it. But I legitimately had dreams last night about solving these puzzles. And it's the other crazy thing about this game is that see, here's the double worm thing I'm talking about. The other crazy thing about this game is, for the first time since, I don't know, Dark Souls 1, it's been many, many years that I've played a game. I've sat down to play a game and 4 hours go by and I'm like, I don't want to stop. I want to keep solving these stupid ass puzzles. And even when I'm really frustrated with the game, in particular, there's one area of the game which I will spoil because it's fucking garbage. It's the jungle. The jungle, there's a bamboo jungly area, and the puzzles all revolve around sound. And that's fine. And for the first half of those puzzles, I can do it. I can solve it. Oh, here's the whatever. You know, I can kind of guess the waveform it's trying to tell me to do. So it's like these bird noises, like these stupid fucking bird noises. And that's fine. And I kind of fumbled my way through the first half of them, right? And then I get to the end, and there's like towards the end, and they start having like a phone noise. Someone's calling on the phone while you're trying to solve a puzzle with bird squeals, and it's awful. It is so terrible, and it's incredibly frustrating. So I did most of those. I used the guide for the last one in that section, and then it goes to the bamboo area because you're not done yet. You gotta listen to more sounds first. Okay, so we go to this other section. I gotta listen to more sounds. I have no fucking clue how you're supposed to solve this next area. No clue at all. It makes no sense to me. And so I looked up how to do it because fuck you, I'm not playing these stupid sounds. I'm playing this game for this right here. These logic puzzles, these mazes, these mystery things. I'm moving blocks, I'm fitting Tetris pieces in. That's why I'm playing in the game. That's why I love the game. I'm not playing the game to play some shitty music beeping noise shit that doesn't make any sense, and the game never explains it. Now, it's entirely possible, because there was a mechanic there I didn't understand, it's entirely possible I haven't been taught how to do that yet. But you can go fuck yourself. Because I've been to basically every area in the game and I still haven't seen those little dots that you have to do in the order. And I don't even, here's the thing too about the sounds. When I was young, in 5th grade, 6th grade, I don't know, one of those grades, I played the saxophone. And I could read sheet music. And I never practiced and I never did anything. I could just do it. So I have musical talent if I actually sat down and gave a shit. I could probably play something. I'm also really good at Guitar Hero. Tangentially related. Probably not. But the sounds on this are so... it doesn't set up rules. Like for every other section, it'll give you a thing. So it's like, okay, here's this symbol. And here's 2 squares. So I could draw this. So, alright. So here's how the puzzle will go. Red, I picked the fucking worst color. So here's how the puzzle will go, right? So you got this, and then the next one will be like this. Like this. Alright, so then we got this star, and this star, and we got this star. So, God, this marker stinks. So this is how the game trains you, essentially. So it'll show you, let me make sure this is in frame. There we go. It'll show you like this, and it'll have a star. And so you have to draw and figure out what the star means, right? So then it gives you 2 stars. So you have to figure out, oh, oh, the stars, if I do 2 stars, it works. If I split them up, it doesn't work. So it trains you. It does simple puzzles like this. And it gives you information and it tells you how to do the game. With the sound puzzles, it just fucking makes bird noises at you and expects you to know that a high-pitched squeal is up and a lower one that's not really that much lower is in the middle. And an even lower one is lower. Fuck you. Those puzzles are terrible. And I have no problems with the fact that I cheated on those puzzles, half of them. No problem at all. No problem whatsoever. And nope. There's that, where that goes now. Break everything. I like when you drop those whiteboards, it sounds like the world is crumbling in a black hole, like it's just being shrunk together. But it really just fell like 3 feet. It sounds like someone got in a car accident, but it's just a whiteboard. Okay, so but ignoring that, ignoring the frustration with those audio puzzles, there are these areas where it's just the fun logic puzzles over and over and over and over again. And I did one yesterday where the environment is so important, and it is very much like, I don't mind looking up if I get stuck 10 puzzles in out of 20. I'm going to look up that one puzzle because it's like, I'm not going to spend more than 10-15 minutes on a single puzzle in the middle of a section. I'm not going to look up the clue. I'm not going to look up the hint, right? I'm not going to look up the solution to the problem. I'm going to figure it out on my own and have that aha moment of like, oh, you got to look through this way. All I'll say. That's fine. But once I know your clue, once I know your hint, and I'm having trouble with this one puzzle this one section of the world revolves around reflections. And so the fun in those puzzles is absent for me because the entire solution is merely finding the right way to view the reflection and then solving the puzzle. And it becomes less a game of logic. It becomes a frustrating dance of where do I look? Do I look down here? Do I look this? I gotta raise the water level. And it's not fun. And those things are so frustrating to me when 80% of the game is so mind-blowingly fun to me because I love puzzles. The rest of the game is so good, and then it just pulls me down with these shitty puzzles that aren't even good. The audio puzzle is terrible. The reflections place, not as terrible, and by no means as terrible. But not fun because it's one of those things where I guess I just have to have a notebook and I gotta write everything down, and that's all well and good, but not like this. This isn't using my brain. This is using, it's like what is it? There's a word for it, but it's space. It's like using spatial awareness to solve a puzzle. So basically, it's as though it's akin to you're taking a math test in school, right? And you look over there. You don't know the answer because you're a lazy idiot. And you look over there, and you're like, okay, that person has solved question 8. They have the answer to question 8. So you look over, and you're like, okay, 42. And then you look over here, and you're like, oh, you got question 9? All right, B. That's what all those puzzles feel like to me. All they are is just like, I gotta figure out where do I look to, where do I look to find the answer? And then once you find the answer, you just write it down. So that's fun. That's the akin of having a book in front of you, and you just have to turn to different pages to find the book. Well, I don't like that. I'm getting off a tangent. Puzzles like this are amazing. And specifically with these puzzles where I realize I'm showing a lot of answers here. Anyway, puzzles like this are so fascinating to me because and oh my god, it's so fucking good. The more of these you solve, the yellow line, I'm pointing at my screen, the yellow line grows faint. It grows invisible. And then, even more important, you'll be going to the world and you'll see similar mechanics. You'll see the double-headed dragon worm, and and you'll use the skills you've had before. There's this one area where each panel was like, oh, this is a panel like from this area, and you solve it that one way. And then this is a panel from the other area. Okay, you solve it that way. And it's so fascinating. And I've heard this said about the game before. It is very much like learning a language in a very strange way. A very strange way. But it's so much fun. And when it's annoying and bad, it can go straight to hell. But even with that, even with me being frustrated for like 2 hours with this game, I still love it. And I still go back to it. And I go back to this one area, in this like treetop area, which is my favorite area in the game, because it's all logic puzzles. And it's literally these squares that just keep folding and folding and folding and folding and folding of all these panels over and over and over and over again. It's just puzzle after puzzle. And that's what I fucking want. I'm a puzzle nerd for these puzzles. This specific type of puzzle that is just solving a maze in the correct way and figuring out its mysteries. It's so, oh, this one took me a while. It's so good, and it does things to kind of subvert your expectations, so it'll have a rule set that kind of changes. Like I mentioned, that the worm goes away. It's so fascinating. It's so smartly done, and I understand that there's some kind of twisty thing, and my internet also sucks. That's unrelated right now, but it's so good, and I don't want to say like final judgment until I've done more of the puzzles, but I've done a lot of the puzzles, done a lot of the areas. I'm about to go up the mountain and do whatever that means. I don't know what that even means. But it's so much fun. It's so good, and it's stupid to say, oh, this game's $40. Okay, well, a lot of games are $40, right? And this feels, there's so much, and it's so creative. Each area is its own game that's bigger than your bullshit Congregate game. What do you say? What do you think of Broken Age? I've only recently got to play, and I have to say a lot of these puzzles felt like absolute nonsense to me. I specifically didn't play Broken Age or any of those adventure games because I'm bad at them, in the sense of that, yes, they're nonsensical. They are, oh, you have a broken microwave and there's a pizza in it, and you take the pizza out, and then you go to a door later in the game, and the pizza cheese from the dried pizza can wedge the door open, and you're like, okay, I guess that's how I wedge the door open? Like, I don't know, what the fuck, how was I supposed to know that? That's why I like these puzzles. These puzzles are very much, here's the world, here's some stuff, and there you go. It's not throwing in all this garbage. But the other thing it does that like adventure games like that don't do, because adventure games like that are very linear. This game is, I could fail this puzzle I'm doing right here, and then I could just leave, right? I could just leave and go and do one of hundreds of other puzzles, and there are 7 other areas in the game, right? Or there's more than that. Probably 10 other areas in the game I could go to right at the start. And they all, for the most part, they all have their own rule set, and I can just go do them, right? I can just go do them. And that's the genius of it, because you will get stuck, and I'll just leave. You know, like, I'm stuck in this puzzle, I'll just come back. You know, I'll come back later. Maybe I don't understand this mechanic. It's involving the Tetris pieces, but I haven't used them yet. So I'm not quite sure that all the rules for them. So come back, and you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere and do anything, and you don't need a goddamn pizza slice to open a door. There are things you'll stumble across. There's one door, I don't know where it is, but I stumbled upon it early in the game, and it had like 30 different symbols on it. And I want to find it now, you know, 16 hours later, when I know what a lot of those symbols mean. I want to see what that's about. And it's just so much fun to solve these puzzles. It's so stupid. It's so dumb, but it's so much fun. And it's also gorgeous. Very, very beautiful art style. Varied environment. You know, this is a lake kind of in the desert, and then the next area is sandy desert, and then there's a quarry. And there's a jungle. I mentioned the shitty jungle. The good thing about the jungle is it's one of the shorter areas, probably about 12, 15 puzzles in total. But see, this one right here is where the snake, the two snake worms start to, the one starts to fade. Very fascinating to me. Very, very fascinating. Like how squeaky my chair is. I wonder if you can hear that. I'm actually really, oh shit. Oh no, Zelda. Yes, saved the day. That's going to be a bitch to pick up the marker that fell, but that's fine. Anyway, the Witness is great. Merry Christmas, Witness. I will stay around if you have anything to ask me about the game because it's great. It's really great. It's frustrating though in looking up solutions to some of these puzzles. I get stuck on one every once in a while. Not that I'm like a genius, but it's tough to look up things because people on the internet they're so into the solution. They just want to show you the solution. I don't want the solution. I want to know a clue. I want to know a hint, and in that way, the game kind of falters. There is no hint system. Like just fact, you know. There is no hint system. The game, I guess itself, the puzzles previous are the hint system. And in that ways it kind of works, but sometimes it feels like if I've been stuck on a puzzle for 15, 20 minutes, I would like someone to say to me, the game to say to me, you're looking at this wrong. Have you tried starting this way? You know, and that's it. Just a little nudge. But I understand making that for every single puzzle in the game would probably be ridiculous. Well, not probably, would be ridiculous. I don't know my internet's being shitty. But, man. Look at me try to solve this puzzle like a moron. You gotta collect all the dots. You just gotta do it. That's what's so fun about it. And then it takes away the yellow one and you have to solve it by yourself. So cool. So freaking cool. Oh my god. That's the thing about the game. It's so smart. No, just solve the puzzle, dummy. Okay. Like if I just yell at myself for playing a game poorly. You're not doing it right. You gotta puzzle this way. Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from that because some games with hints, they will hint you to death. They will come up behind you and be like, hey, you've been staring at this wall for 5 seconds. Would you like to know a clue? And the clue is literally go here. Like that's the solution. That's not a clue. So I can understand that as well. You know, it almost needs kind of a prompt from the user to be like, hey, I want a hint with this. Other things I guess I could say. It kind of can take a while to walk around the world if you want to go far places. There's a map, but there's not a map on you. And I don't think it needs a map. I think it needs a way for me to look up if I'm done with an area. And there's not to not spoil anything. There's hidden stuff, and then there's the area proper. Like this is the area proper. And then there's hidden stuff too. I would like to know both separately for each area, and I don't believe there's any way to know if I've missed a panel in a certain area or not. And without numbering them, without like some kind of subtle numbering system below each panel, there's no way for me to look up. There's no way for the game to be like, hey, you missed puzzle 375 in the jungle. Go do it, you know. So if I wanted to complete everything, there's no way for me to know. But that's kind of the whole point. That's kind of the mystery of the island. And oh, I didn't even bring up the oft obnoxious audio logs, some of which go on for about 10 minutes. And they're fine. They're like philosophers talking about philosophy, but they're really just distracting and they're hard to focus on, especially if you're solving a puzzle at the same time and it's like, man from Earth could see space and he saw the stars and he did. It's like, I'm trying to solve a puzzle. Like, just cool it with your can just talk to me about normal things. And I don't know. I've listened to all of them I stumbled across, but I couldn't tell you anything. They're all just scientists talking about science and the world, and they're interesting, I guess, but kind of unnecessary, in my opinion, to be in, unless something happens, unless there's like some giant plot twist that involves those audio logs that are quotes from Albert Einstein 60 years ago. But see, look at it. It's so fascinating. This fascinating shit where there's a missing thing. Oh my god. It's so good. The puzzle in this is so good. I've rambled on enough about how good these puzzles are. They're so good. Like I said, dreams about the game. Where I'd wake up and I'd roll over and be like, well, what if I drew the line this way? And then you go back to sleep. Because it's so many puzzles. They're everywhere. Like, puzzles. So that is all about The Witness. And that's the end of the show. I'll hang out if you want to ask me anything or say anything. I record the show live, 3 p.m. Pacific time, every Friday, right here, where you are watching the show. And thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for not yelling at me about something or complaining weirdly or being racist. Mainly just for being weird and racist. There's a lot of weird and racist people on it, and I don't understand. Where are they all hiding in real life? Where are these people? Also, I don't know why my internet sucks today. It's usually really good. I need to grease up my chair. It is squeaky. Squeaky. Yep, thanks for hanging out. I don't want to reveal what this puzzle solution is, so I'll stop the video. Too afraid to say anything. That's a good point. Everyone, they're too afraid to say that they're racist, but they're very proud of it online, which is weird. So you know it's wrong, but when you're anonymous, you can say whatever you want. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Also, yeah, good job being racist, idiots. I don't know. That's funny to me. No, get that off the screen. The Witness! I have all these screens. I have all these different setups. I use like 2 of them. Hours of Photoshop, toiling away. Just toiling. Oh, the marker's right here. I don't think I've ever used the green one. Fun fact about markers. Where did it go? If you're afraid to say you're racist to your friends, then you probably shouldn't be talking about it, That's a good idea, right? If you were to ask me anything, I'll stay here for like a couple minutes while I play with my table. It's a fuzz right here.